Very good evening to all. As you know that the first unit is going on research method and methodology. So in yesterday class, we already completed the most important research methodology, especially qualitative research methodology. In the qualitative research methodology, we already done different type of the qualitative research methodology like participatory rural appraisal and the rapid rural appraisal was the last. And interview, case studies, life cycle observation, and schedule and questionnaire we already done. So basically you have to remember two. First one is difference between schedule and the questionnaire, and the second one is PRA and RRA, participate participatory rural appraisal and the rapid rural appraisal. This two technique is more important right now because it's a very important technique that's as a ethno as a researcher. So we have to keep in mind this type of the data. So right now the UGC NET-JRF exam little bit hanging towards the philosophical dimensions. In philosophical dimensions, the earlier they were asking a grounded theory. The grounded theory was given by Gross and Strauss and GMS. Time period was I think 1877 near about. I am not exactly recall, but the time period was 1877. What is that meaning of the grounded theory? Grounded theory means discovering something new. It's a totally inductive method. It's a following a inductive methodology. It means there is no hypothesis draw before the research, and after the completion of research, after the completions of the research, researcher can find out the theory. What exactly they find? Grounded theory. The most important part of the grounded theory is the saturations. Grounded theory is saturations, and so many point is there, but the saturation is the most important part. In matching section, they direct ask first question. They ask who given this grounded theory, and the second they ask the saturations point is a part of which theory. So basically, this is a part of the ground theory, and apart from that, they asking questions like what conceptual questions related to ground theory. Ground theory is basically, I already told you, it's an inductive method. It's basically discovery of new thing. We will see how this Strauss discovered this grounded theory. Next part we have exploration and excavations and GIS. GIS means geographic information system. Geographic, देखो सही बता रही हूँ ना, क्योंकि full form is most important. हाँ, geographic information system सही है. ठीक है, geographic information. Sometimes generally they ask the abbreviations. Abbreviation, it means the acronym, full form. What is the full form of the GIS? So geographic information system, and sometimes they ask the conceptual based question related to GIS, but they are not going too deeper. They are just ask the simple questions. So explorations and excavation is not a part of philosophical dimension. Explorations and excavation is a part of archaeological anthropology. But यहाँ पे mentions किया हुआ है, so we will try to cover this unit here. Explorations, like as an archaeologist, whenever you go in new field, you can what first work you have to do. First work, you would like to explore that area. Explore that area means you want to, suppose that as an archaeologist you went at the Buddhist site as a stupa area. So like a very famous stupa, I think Sarnath stupa. So as an archaeologist you went there, and first your duty to explore which type of the area are there, and which type of the soil is there, and which type of the cultural pattern is there, and which type of the monument they made there, which type of the stupa is there, what is the special characteristics of the stupa. This is called the explorations. I'll explore karte hain. Why I'm telling you, because this question they ask already in arranged in the sequential manner. जब वो explore कर लेते हैं, so they were starting after the explorations, they just starting a excavation start करते हैं. देखिए excavations, different method of excavation is there. You have to remember the method of excavations. Why I'm telling you? Because this method they already asked in the previous year questions, and this excavation method is most important because as an archaeologist you have to study in detail. So देखिए आर्कियोलॉजी का डिपार्टमेंट सभी यूनिवर्सिटीज में अलग अलग होता है, तो ये स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चंस जो है वो ड्रॉ किए जाते हैं एग्जामिनेशंस में, तो हमें इसको याद रखना चाहिए कि देखिए अगर एक्सकवेशंस होते हैं, सो फॉर टू मेथड इज वेरी सिंपल, vertical excavations and horizontal excavations. Right now you are enough. I think I already taught you different type of the archaeological method. So in that way, when the archaeologists start to excavating vertical excavations means directly upper to lower side. It's a vertical excavation. So देखिए उसमें they are not able to find out the parallel cultural development. They are able to only identify the vertical cultural development. What is the meaning of the vertical cultural development? A chronology based cultural development. क्योंकि एक के बाद एक लेयर का वो जैसे suppose that this is a site. So first they identify these culture and after that these. So they are layer, on the basis of layer they were identified. This is called the vertical excavation method. इसके अपने disadvantage भी हैं, ठीक है. And the horizontal excavation is only one way, that way the archaeologist is find out the sequential and parallel cultural development in the different countries, especially like India and the China and Europe. एक साथ ही अलग अलग कंट्रीज में जो भी एरिया में जो भी कल्चरल डेवलपमेंट होते हैं, स्पेशली यू कैन सी द बेस्ट एग्जांपल इन Harappan civilizations, ठीक है, civilizations. So in Harappan civilizations you can see the different site is there. Mohenjo-daro is there. Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, even both were different, little bit of the differentiation is there, but when the it only possible, sometimes you can see the analogy in between Harappan site and Mohenjo-daro site. Why archaeologists are able to see the analogy between in these two civilizations? Because they excavate in horizontal manner. So जब horizontal manner में same times पे अगर यहाँ पे भी excavations हो रहा है, यहाँ पे भी excavation हो रहा है, so in that case the archaeologist able to find out these same times cultural development in two different area. So this is called the excavations. So this is the part of, or so many method is also there. You have to, I think 2-3 method is also there. So basically you have to recall each and every sections, and even though you have to identify the disadvantage. अब horizontal excavation का disadvantage क्या हो सकता है? Horizontal excavation का disadvantage ये हो सकता है, it could be archaeologist was not able to identify the chronological development of the culture. They are only able to identify the parallel development of the culture, ठीक है, क्योंकि आर्टिफैक्ट जो भी मिलेंगे वो पैरेलल डेवलपमेंट के मिलेंगे, सीक्वेंशियल डेवलपमेंट के नहीं मिलेंगे. सो दिस इज द मोस्ट फेमस एग्जांपल, ठीक है. एंड नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू कवरिंग अबाउट द फिलोसफिकल डायमेंशंस ऑफ मेथड, research method and methodology. So all you are aware, these philosophical dimensions of research method and methodology is not directly evolved in anthropology and sociology and political science and economy. So most of these great anthropologists, we can say, are great politicians. Are politician, it means who gave the political theory. यहाँ पे मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है, politicians पे नहीं जाना है. And economics, like Adam Smith, like a Karl Marx. Okay, I don't know. I don't know exactly. He was economics or political figure, but I know he was a philosopher. He was a good philosopher. So many these type of the philosophy was there, but हम वही पढ़ेंगे. We are only constrict to those which is asking anthropology examinations, especially UGC, NET and JRF. देखिए philosophy एक ऐसा subject है, when you start entering in philosophy, So it's too broad. We are not able to exactly identify the figure. We are not able exactly identify the which theory, what approach they were following. But when we when we limit ourselves with our subject, so in that case we are able to answering the examinations. So why I am starting this philosophical dimension in social science, especially I can say the social science. It could be right, maybe it's not a can, it could be right. Social science, because in social science the philosophical dimension was starting very early during the Emile Durkheim and the Karl Marx. All you are aware, the Emile Durkheim was the first person. He was a uh, first persons from the France who identified the uh, sociological method of sociology. He was basically he was from sociology branch. He was a sociologist. He was a great sociologist, but he done a lot of work in anthropology. Like he gave mechanical solidarities and the organic solidarities, and he wrote the very famous book is uh, Suicide, I think, written by him, and another is Sociological Method of Anthropology or Sociology, this type of the book written by Emile Durkheim. And you can see these mechanical solidarities and the organic solidarities was again modified by the George George Marcus. These type of the concept was given by them. And he also contemporary to Karl Marx. Karl Marx की थ्योरी से इन्होंने भी कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट ड्रिवन किए हैं. Likewise, Weber and the Karl Marx. Whenever you start the philosophical dimensions, you have to compare the Weber and the Karl Marx together. In which step, in which term, you have to identify, you have to compare Karl Marx and the Weber in the social stratification in society. Basically, what is the meaning of the stratifications? Meaning of stratification. Meaning of stratifications means identify the inequalities which is present in our societies. Okay, in the terms of the x, in the terms of the sex, in the terms of the gender, in the terms of the age, in the terms of the caste. I think today I heard a news. I think I haven't seen the Panchayat web series, but I heard a lot about that. I know most of them, most of you have seen this type of the Panchayat series, web series. So one of the, I think, personality in Panchayat series is called Vinod. I read, I don't know if this is real or not, but I heard, I have read on the social media post, even he is very, I think most of the people are following him as a great actors, I think as a maybe big personality, big popularities about him. But right now he is facing in own village in the casteism. So what is a casteism? Casteism is again the social stratification. No? The villager people are don't allow to him to enter into temple. So this is again an example of casteism. So even though most of the people are following, they have a choice. They would like to meet with him. They would like to enjoy, spend time with him. But the villager people are don't allow to entering into temple. Which type of the personality they are, I don't know. But I am explaining here because of the social stratifications. So right now, even though he's a very big actor, he is very great actor, and he is facing this type of the social stratification in our society. So this is a casteism. So the casteism is again the one of the dimension of the social stratifications. And all you are aware, different type of the social stratification in our societies. So these type of the social stratifications are comparing Karl Marx and the Weber. Karl Marx represent the social stratification is only one way. What is the meaning of only one way? He categorized people on the basis of their labor. You know, one book is written by Durkheim. In this book he represent, I think उनकी book का ही नाम है labor करके है कुछ. I'm not able to recall, but PPT में सब कुछ mention है. Social, I think, division of labor. Yeah, division of labor. In division of labor, it was a very early book. ठीक है, बहुत पहले लिखा था. So in division of labor, he was the first person who identified how industrial society is divided this labor in different group, and how they are using this labor group in different, especially in the big cities. So this type of the classification is also given by their Karl Marx. देखिए कार्ल मार्क्स का पढ़ना हमारे लिए जरूरी नहीं है, so मैंने कभी इसमें डीप में स्टडी नहीं किया, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, कंसाइडर माई सेल्फ. सो इसमें ही कंसाइडर आई थिंक 2-3 ग्रुप वाज देयर, अमीर लोग, फिर मिडिल लोग, फिर उससे भी कुछ बुर्जुआ, प्रोलेटारिएट वाज देयर, and one group is also there. So Karl Marx was categorized in these three groups. But my point of view is related to Weber. Why? Because Karl Marx is only identify the one perspective of the division of labor in on only the one perspective. But the Weber developed this social stratification is a broad way, like a caste, like a status and status, status, power, and status, role, and power maybe. So power was the most important thing. Status is related to their positions, and the power is the most three dimension was there. एक status है, एक power है. Status, class, and power was there. So power, he represented the political stratification is also there. So he covered the three dimension. Weber covered the three dimension of these type of the social stratification. It also related to philosophical dimension of uh, research methodology. How I am saying this is related to philosophical dimension. All these are a philosopher. Karl Marx was a philosopher. Weber, especially, he was initially was a philosopher, and after that he done a lots of work in society. He said कि society is a web of network. I think he was the Kule also done work in the society. बट द वेवर वॉज वेरी फेमस. ठीक है, देखिए इन्होंने ये लाइन से काम किए थे. एग्जैक्ट किसी को भी नहीं याद हो पाता है, इवन दो वेरी फेमस इमिनेंट प्रोफेसर दे डोंट हैव द एग्जैक्ट डेफिनेशंस, बट नियर अबाउट अगर आपको इतना भी पता होगा, ही रिलेटेड टू सोशल स्ट्रैटिफिकेशंस, ही गिव द थ्री फिनोमिनन, सो यू आर एबल टू आंसरिंग. एग्जैक्ट किसी को नहीं याद हो पाता है, इट्स वेरी ऑनेस्ट आई एम सेइंग. कोई ऐसा है दिन रात उसी में है तो उसकी बात अलग है. इवन दो आई रेड सो मेनी टाइम्स, आई थिंक मोर देन, बहुत बार पढ़ा हूँ, पर एग्जैक्ट नहीं याद हो पाता है, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. ठीक है, सो नेक्स्ट देखिए. नेक्स्ट हमारे पास जो अब क्वेश्चन पूछे जाते हैं राइट नाउ दे आर रिलेटेड विद गोइंग टुवर्ड्स द रीथिंकिंग एंड द सोशल मेथड ऑफ रिसर्च मेथडोलॉजी. इनमें कुछ नाम फेमस है, जैसे कि सबसे फर्स्ट फेमस नाम है कार्ल पॉपर. इवन दो बिफोर दैट पॉजिटिविज्म एंड द पोस्ट पॉजिटिविज्म इज आल्सो देयर. देखिए पॉजिटिविज्म और पोस्ट पॉजिटिविज्म का बहुत बेसिक सा फंडा है. इमाइल डर्कहाइम, देखिए अगस्ट कॉम्टे, who was August Comte. August Comte is again related to Emile Durkheim, and he gave the one he utilized the Durkheim and the Seligman, Jesus Seligman concept, and he gave the new phenomenon is called the positivism. Positivism, he also considered the father of positivism. And again post positivism was there. Post positivism earlier positivism was totally based on the science. they वो science को मानते थे. Science थोड़ा भी इधर उधर होगा, they are not able to identify, they rejected that one. I will tell you what is the exact definition between positivism and post positivism. But in the post positivism is based on the both. वो quality, वो science को भी मानते थे और आपकी assumptions को भी मानते थे. ठीक है, whatever the imaginary thing was there, they accept. Either imaginary, no, they neither reject imaginary thing and nor rejected the scientific. Both they were accepted. So this concept was developed during the post-positivism. And the post-positivism was based on the qualitative as well as the quantitative. कुछ बच्चे उसमें restrictions create करते हैं कि नहीं ये था नहीं. So don't follow that one. Post-positivism is based on the qualitative and the quantitative as well. Both are based. ठीक है. So I am saying कि Auguste Comte was a father of positivism. And after that, one phenomenological study was there. Alfred, एक बहुत toughest नाम है. I think this is a name is French में कुछ स्कोटिस करके. ठीक है, Alfred स्कोटिस करके name है. He was not a father, but most of the examination whenever asked the question is related to phenomenological studies. So you have to match with this Alfred Scotis. We will see what the exact name or pronunciations. Okay, so this phenomenological study is related to, and again the two name is most important. What is the two name? The first name is a Karl Popper and the second one is a Kuhn. Okay, so why the Karl Popper is important? So Karl Popper was a person who challenged the scientific theory. बहुत अच्छे philosopher थे. He was very I read a lot about him, the Karl Popper. And the Karl Popper is basically in examination they ask the only one questions, the falsifiability. Falsifiability is related to which one, psychologist or anthropologist. He was basically social philosophy की study की. Basically he was related to philosophy. So Karl Popper was related to this philosophical dimension of falsifiability. What is the meaning of the falsifiability? Why he gave this term? Falsifiability means likewise any scientific experiment, anything which is developed by the scientists, they are उसको challenge करना आना चाहिए. If there is no testability, if there is no acceptance and the resistance, there were no any other option to create a new ideas. Falsifiabilities, like the very best example they mention on the internet, I read. So what was the example? जैसे एक छोटा सा हिंदी में बोलती हूँ, बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे पढ़ के. जैसे एक साइंटिफिक का एक्सपेरिमेंट है कि जितने भी स्वान होते हैं, ऑल स्वान आर वाइट. ठीक है, हमने मान लिया. पर ऐसा तो नहीं है ना कि अगर कोई ब्लैक स्वान हमने आज तक जिंदगी लाइफ में नहीं देखा तो ब्लैक स्वान एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता है. अगर in case we are assuming all swan were white, so this theory is not 100% correct. It's not testified. It's not verified. In case in future we will see the one swan was a black, so this theory will be challenged. इसको challenge कर सकते हैं हम किसी भी method पे. So this exact concept was mentioned by Karl Popper in the falsifiabilities. Okay, so that's why they asked so many times these questions, even though the term falsifiability was not exactly given by the Karl Popper, but the way he described the falsifiability is important. And the next one is a concept is given by Kuhn. Why they are asking the question from Kuhn? Because Kuhn give the paradigm of the scientific research. Let's see what is a paradigm in in this class, and after that if we get the time we will start the grounded theory. Okay, so let me share the file first and explain. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बहुत अच्छा है अगर पढ़ना चाहो, क्योंकि यहाँ से क्वेश्चंस भी एग्जामिनेशंस में आ रहे हैं, तो अगर आप लोग पढ़ना चाहो तो पढ़िए, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. Let me share the file first. Philosophy of the social science in research. Okay. Introductions. Social science, or more specifically sociology, is the formal body of knowledge. बहुत ध्यान से पढ़ना है. Knowledge that has grown, evolved, create a communities of the scholars and establish the distinctive traditions of learning. This is possible because of the method, a set of the principle are the guidelines, are observing the social realities and the constructing a systematic bodies of the knowledge. Basically देखिए, अगर आपसे कभी भी कोई पूछता है, anyone are asking from you, what is a research? So research is basically scientific and systematic studies to discovering something new. ठीक है, सिस्टमैटिक स्टडी कोई, जब हम किसी चीज को सिस्टमैटिक वे में स्टडी करते हैं, सो दैट इज कॉल्ड रिसर्च. सो यहाँ पे जो हम साइंस से बेसिकली ये जो सोशल साइंस है, स्पेसिफिकली सोशियोलॉजी, बिकॉज सोशियोलॉजी इज डायरेक्टली रिलेटेड टू सोसाइटी. ठीक है, एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में क्या करते हैं? एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में हम ट्रेडिशनल सोसाइटीज की स्टडी करते हैं, जबकि सोशियोलॉजी में हम contemporary or modern societies की स्टडी करते हैं. The basic difference between anthropology and the sociology. Okay. चलिए देखिए. Foundation of the social science, it understood the objectives based on the fact, emphasize rationals. dispassionate analysis rather than the emotional judgment. ठीक है, मतलब रैशनल स्टडीज करेंगे, जो रैशनल चीजें हैं उस पर फोकस करेंगे, इमोशनल जजमेंट पे फोकस नहीं कर सकते हैं। इमोशनली एवरीथिंग इज, स्पेसिफिकली रिसर्च में तो इमोशनली चीजों को ला ही नहीं सकते हैं, ठीक है। दिस इज नॉट परमिएबल इन रिसर्च प्रोसेस। टू डिस्टिंग्विश्ड थिंकर्स, बैकन, फ्रांसिस बैकन, इनका नाम याद रखना है आपको, एंड रेने डिस्कार्टे, ठीक है। रेने डिस्कार्टे की कंपैरेटिव स्टडीज भी है कार्ल मार्क्स के साथ, ठीक है। वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू दैट मच, बट द रेने डिस्कार्टे या डिस्कार्ट, वट एवर यू कैन प्रोनाउंस करिए, सारे फ्रेंच नेम है और मुझे फ्रेंच नहीं आती है टू बी ऑनेस्ट, तो मैं फ्रेंच नहीं बोल पाऊंगी, ठीक है। तो फ्रांसिस बैकन एंड द रेने डिस्कार्टे and made the crucial contribution is the 17th centuries, the laying the foundations of the modern science, ठीक है। इन्होंने मॉडर्न साइंस की फाउंडेशन, मॉडर्न साइंस कहने का मतलब है कि कैसे रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी को दे वर रिलेटेड टू सोशल एंथ्रोपोलॉजी, सॉरी सोशल साइंस टू मॉडर्न साइंस। द बैकन टॉट द फर्स्ट इंपोर्टेंट ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्टिविटीज। चलिए बैकन का देखते हैं, बैकन ने क्या आइडिया दिया था। तो Francis Bacon, the ideals of minds, he gave the four situations or four idea which is related to mind. First one is ideals of tribe. The common human species arise from the human weakness and prejudice and the superstitions and the mind as an uneven mirror destroying realities. Destroying realities. The first principle, first ideal is ideal of tribe, and second ideal of den, individual, unique to individual. Every persons, they have individual, they have a unique mindset and shape their personalities, optimism and pessimism, love for change for antiquities or distort the perceptions. It means that every human, they have their unique characteristics or individualities. It's called idol of them. Third one is idol of market. Idol of market is basically related to human interactions, basically their linguistics and the language failed to describe the realities. Okay. Accuracies, dispute, and the controversies of the words. And the last one is idol of theater. So you have to remember these become the four idol of mind. The first one is idol of tribe, second one is idol of den, third one is idol of market, fourth one is idol of theater. देखिए ये क्वेश्चंस पूछा नहीं है, लेकिन ये फिलोसफी सोशल साइंस का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट, बैकन इज वेरी फेमस पर्सनालिटी, नहीं भी पूछे तो पता होना चाहिए अगर आप स्टूडेंट हो। नेक्स्ट वन देखिए, हिमाल डरखाइम, वॉट एवर यू कैन प्रोनाउंस आप प्रोनाउंस करिए, ठीक है। कुछ लोग दरखीम बोलते हैं, कुछ लोग डरखाइम बोलते हैं। इन इंग्लिश वी कॉल द डरखाइम, इन हिंदी वी कॉल द दुरखीम। सो आपको जो अच्छा लगता है तो आप लोग उसको प्रोनाउंस कर सकते हैं। प्रोनाउंसिएशन पे कोई वो नहीं होना चाहिए, डिबेट नहीं होनी चाहिए, ठीक है। प्रोनाउंसिएशन आप अपने अकॉर्डिंग करिए। wrote the rule of the sociological method. This was a very famous and the very earlier book which is written by Emile Durkheim, The Rule of the Sociological Method in 1895. And next one is a Division of Labor, 1893. टाइम पीरियड आपको याद रखना है। देखिए कभी भी पूछा जाए एग्जामिनेशन में, इनकी एक और बुक है, आई थिंक द बुक नेम इज रिलेटेड टू रिलीजन, द एलिमेंट्री फॉर्म ऑफ द रिलीजन। दिस बुक वाज आई थिंक द टाइम पीरियड इज 1912। इसको याद रखना है, ठीक है। वैसे तो मैं क्रोनोलॉजी बताऊंगी जब 7th यूनिट पे चलेंगे हम लोग, 7th और 8th पे। सो इन दैट यूनिट आई विल एक्सप्लेन इन द डिटेल कि डरखाइम की क्रोनोलॉजी को बुक कैसे याद रखनी है, क्योंकि डरखाइम इज पार्ट ऑफ द फ्रेंच सोशियोलॉजिकल थ्योरी, तो उसमें हमें डिटेल में पढ़ना है, बट यहाँ पे हम फिलोसफिकल पर्सपेक्टिव से पढ़ रहे हैं। The scientific studies of the societies and sociology as a science of the sociological fact do not a political ideologies, and explain the modern industry societies, differentiations, specializations, and the complex divisions of labor, distinguish between organic solidarities and the mechanical solidarities. देखिए ये PYQ questions है, I think June 2025 का questions है। Organic solidarities and the mechanical solidarities was given by, so organic and mechanical solidarities is given by the Emile Durkheim, और इसी को मॉडिफाइड किया था इनके जो नीस थे, इनके नीस तो नेफ्यू मार्शल मॉस वाज अ नेफ्यू ऑफ द इमाल डरखाइम। उन्होंने इसी ऑर्गेनिक सॉलिडारिटीज और मैकेनिकल सॉलिडारिटी पे कॉन्सेप्ट दिए हैं, वी विल सी इन दैट यूनिट। बट दिस यू हैव टू, ऑर्गेनिक सॉलिडारिटीज इज रिलेटेड टू मॉडर्न सोसाइटीज एंड द मैकेनिकल सॉलिडारिटीज इज रिलेटेड टू ट्रेडिशनल सोसाइटीज। यहाँ से इस पॉइंट को राइट डाउन कर लेना है। फर्स्ट यू हैव टू राइट डाउन द बुक नेम, the rules of the sociological method 1895, and the division of the labor 1893. He was believed in the scientific studies of the societies, and elementary element elements of religion या elementary elements of religion ऐसा something है, बुक है 1912 की, उसको भी याद रखना है. चलिए नेक्स्ट देखिए, कार्ल मार्क्स. वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू इन द डिटेल, जस्ट लर्न. The influence by the Newtons and the Darwin sought the dedicated the capital 1867 to Darwin. ये डार्विन से, कार्ल मार्क्स डार्विन से बहुत ज्यादा इन्फ्लुएंस थे. जो he wrote the capital book इन्होंने राइट की थी, and emphasized the scientific reasoning and the scientific leap, discovering the iron laws of the capitalistic development. इन्होंने बहुत सारे ही काम किए थे कार्ल मार्क्स. मैं कभी डिटेल में इनको पढ़ती नहीं, एक बार ही पढ़ा था मैंने लाइफ में, उसके बाद मैं दोबारा कार्ल मार्क्स पे गई नहीं, क्योंकि एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में कार्ल मार्क्स का कोई काम नहीं है. ठीक है. फेमस जनरलाइजेशन, हिस्ट्री ऑफ ऑल सोसाइटीज इन द थ्योरी ऑफ द क्लास स्ट्रगल. द डिस्टिंग्विश बिटवीन हिस्टोरिकल मटेरियलिज्म एंड द आइडियोलॉजी. देखिए कार्ल, एक इनका बहुत फेमस है, Hegel and the Karl Marx, the debates of Hegel and the Karl Marx, which is mentioned in anthropology book. The Hegel believed in the dualities. He said कि I am here, that's why I am thinking. मैं हूँ इसलिए मैं सोचता हूँ. और कार्ल मार्क्स कहते हैं मैं सोचता हूँ इसलिए मैं हूँ. I am thinking, that's why I am my existence is here. So there were two different phenomena, and these dualities feature was first given by Hegel, and after that it was opposed by Karl Marx. ठीक है. ये एक डिबेट है जो हमारे एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में मेंशन है, बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट देयर इज नो पॉइंट टू डिस्कस कार्ल मार्क्स इन एंथ्रोपोलॉजी. जो बच्चे इकोनॉमिक एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में जाएंगे उन्हें पढ़ना पड़ेगा, बट अकॉर्डिंग टू सोसाइटी आई डोंट थिंक वी हैव टू गो इन द डिटेल. सो द मोड ऑफ द प्रोडक्शंस एंड द सोशियो कल्चरल लाइफ, conflict and the contradictions, believe in the historical process, science, modernities, and the urbanity. They criticize Asiatic mode of the productions and Oriental despotism, British rule in India as enabling to modern civilizations. Okay, let's see the next one. Max Weber, yes. देखिए, class, status and party. Party means power. ठीक है, political party की बात करते हैं ये. Max Weber explained the social stratification, a multidimensional system. You have to learn this term. Max Weber explained this term is related to multidimensional system. In the multidimensional system, there where he identified the three component. What is the three component in the multidimensional system? First one is a class. Class is related to economic positions. Second one is a status. Status is related to prestige or honor. And the third one is a party. And unlike the Marx, the single focus on the class. देखिए मार्क्स का जो फोकस था, unlike the Marx, single focus on the class, Weber argued that Karl Marx का जो single focus था वो class पे था. He divided class into different group. कौन कौन से ग्रुप में डिवाइड किया था? बोर्जुआ, पोस्ट, बोलो कौन कौन से थ्री ग्रुप थे वो कार्ल मार्क्स के, जिन्होंने कार्ल मार्क्स ने क्लास के बेसिस पे डिफाइन किया था? बुर्जुआ, प्रोलेटेरियस एंड थर्ड वन, दो ही थे. अच्छा ठीक है. Actually, so he divided on the basis of the class. And the Weber is a sociological perspective. He argued the inequalities arise from the overlapping the economic, social and the political. ठीक है. उन्होंने ये नहीं कहा था कि जो inequalities है ये social stratification है वो क्लास के बेसिस पे अराइज होते हैं. Inequalities arise on the different dimension. First one is class, economic dimension, जो तो आप लोग जानते ही हैं, very simple. Status, prestige, and the third one is a party, are the political dimensions. So Weber said कि inequalities, आप देखिए एंथ्रोपोलॉजी में हम कभी भी inequality टर्म का यूज नहीं करते हैं, because the inequalities is present in political science. So we in anthropology or sociology we are using social stratification. So he said the multi-dimension of social stratification component is the class, status and the parties are the political. So three dimensions इन्होंने दिए थे. ठीक है. Let's see the next one. Alfred's, इसका प्रोनाउंसिएशन कैसे करूं ये तो मेरे लिए भी चैलेंज है. चलिए गूगल से एक बार देख लेते हैं कि ये प्रोनाउंसिएशन इनका कैसे किया जाता है. बहुत डिफिकल्ट नाम है, एस गूगल ट्रांसलेट। ये फ्रेंच नेम है, तो फ्रेंच नेम अब फ्रेंच के अकॉर्डिंग ही प्रोनाउंस किए जाते हैं। सूटस, सूटस, अल्फ्रेड सूटस, सूट्स, ठीक है, अल्फ्रेड सूट्स, इनका नाम है अल्फ्रेड सूट्स। ही इज अ वेरी फेमस एंड सो मेनी एग्जामिनेशन अल्फ्रेड सूट्स, they were asking in questions in examination, Alfred Suits, who is co-founder of phenomenological study. So phenomenology study was propounded by Alfred Suits. इसको याद रखना है, ये बहुत डायमेंशन क्वेश्चन है सोशियोलॉजी के। आई थिंक जो अभी प्रोफेसर वाला एग्जाम हुआ था उसमें इसको पूछे थे, ठीक है। सो अल्फ्रेड सूट्स फिनोमेनोलॉजी, ही वाज अ फाउंडर ऑफ, फाउंडर कहेंगे, ही वाज नॉट कॉइन द टर्म बट ही वाज popularize this term phenomenology. कभी भी मैचिंग सेक्शंस में क्वेश्चन आएगा, so you have to match with this phenomenology with Alfred Sutters. Sutters emphasize the interpretive sociologies, the focusing on the people interact, the communicate and understand each other. He introduced typifications, the process by which individuals share rule expectations. His idea are paramount realities describe the everyday world taken for the granted, contrast with the real like dreams are the scientific theorizing. Are the suitors, sociology must take up people's descriptions and the seriously since contrasts are second order to construct role in the lived experience. Basically, phenomenology is talking about the lived experience, like a एथनोग्राफी, जो भी लिव्ड एक्सपीरियंस होता है फिनोमिनोलॉजी में हम उसकी बात करते हैं। वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑलवेज टू लिव्ड एक्सपीरियंस इन फिनोमिनोलॉजी। आपको नाम याद रखना है, ठीक है। अगर देखिए किसी बच्चे को ये भी पता हो, इन केस एनी स्टूडेंट्स नो द फिनोमिनोलॉजी इज रिलेटेड टू अल्फ्रेड सूटर्स, सो अगर एग्जामिनेशंस में इस बुक का नाम पूछते बच्चे इन एग्जामिनेशन, in case they were asking this name, the phenomenology of the social world is written by whom, so in that case students are very easy answer कि Alfred Sutters was related to this phenomenological studies. Okay, so इसीलिए मैंने बुक को भी मेंशन कर दिया। आई एम मेकिंग एवरीथिंग वेरी इजी। देखिए एग्जाम में क्या आएगा क्या नहीं आएगा वी डोंट नो, कोई नहीं जानता है, लेकिन जो भी टॉपिक मेंशंस किए गए हैं उसको अगर ईमानदारी से पढ़ेंगे, ऑनेस्टी एंड कंसिस्टेंसीज एंड द रेगुलरिटीज, एंड आपको अपने आप से ऑनेस्ट और अपने आप का इम्प्रूवमेंट करना होगा। आफ्टर दैट यू विल गेट अ गुड रिजल्ट इन एग्जामिनेशन, कोई नहीं रोक पाएगा, ठीक है। चलिए कोई बात नहीं। देखिए अल्फ्रेड सूटर्स, आई ऑलरेडी मेंशन दिस बुक द फिनोमिनोलॉजी ऑफ द सोशल वर्ल्ड, ये अल्फ्रेड सूटर्स जी हैं। इतना काम कर देते हैं कि हम लोग पढ़ते पढ़ते परेशान हो जाते हैं। नेक्स्ट देखिए हेरोल्ड गारफिंकेल, ये क्वेश्चंस ऑलरेडी एग्जामिनेशंस में पूछा जा चुका है, दे ऑलरेडी आस्क्ड दिस क्वेश्चन इन एग्जामिनेशंस। ओके, हेरोल्ड गारफिंकेल, ही डेवलप्ड एथनोमेथोडोलॉजी। Ethnomethodology means people life. You can see the studying of the method people use in the daily life to create a social order. He argued that the sociology should focus on the ordinary practices, meaning, and the way individuals sustain the realities through the interactions. His work highlighted that the social order is not imposed but continuously produced through the everyday actions and the communications. Okay, everyday daily basis पे जो people method use करते हैं, people are using that method on the basis of their daily use, that is called ethnomethodology, and ethnomethodology was developed by Garfinkel. They already asked, this is a PYQ questions and they already asked in the questions, so you have to very careful about this. देखिए ये philosophical dimensions का part है, this is a part of the philosophical social science. ओके, आप कोई भी ब्रांच से बिलोंग करते हैं, इफ यू आर फ्रॉम सोशियोलॉजी, इफ यू आर फ्रॉम एंथ्रोपोलॉजी, इफ यू आर फ्रॉम political science, if you are from economic more or less fall under the statistical dimension, so you have to learn all these persons because they contribute a lot. Okay, next one you can see the book. First one is studios and ethnomethodologia. Basically ये थोड़ा सा फ्रेंच वर्ड में लिखा हुआ है, so don't go. I think he was from Australia. ठीक है, एग्जैक्ट मुझे पता नहीं है, but the most of the philosopher from Australia. And also Europe, so many, but some who is related to this developing concept of the philosophy is from Australia. ठीक है, this ethnomethodology अगर किसी बच्चे को इतना भी पता होगा ना कि एथनो मेथोडोलॉजी वर्क वाज डन बाय डेवलप्ड बाय हैरोल्ड गार्फिंकेल, so in that case student are able to answer in examinations. Next देखिए, towards a sociological theory of informations. Actually this sociological theory was propounded by this Harold Garfinkel. So that's why this method, he wrote the one book is called Toward a Sociological Theory of Informations. Okay, this book was again written by Harold Garfinkel. Next one देखिए, rethinking science. अभी तक जो हम बात कर रहे थे वो हम बात कर रहे थे कि सोशियोलॉजी का social science, how we are applying to social science in developing social philosophy of the social science methodology. And now we are jumping towards the rethinking. Now we are jumping toward the rethinking science. Rethinking science. The first person is related to Karl Popper, 1902 to 1994. You have to learn this name, Karl Popper. He was the leading philosopher of the science who argued that the scientific knowledge is built on the conjectures and the refutations. Refutations का मतलब क्या हुआ कि उस किस चीज को रिजेक्ट कर सकता है. It was not 100% correct. कोई भी एक्सपेरिमेंट होगा, the experiment was not 100% correct. 99.99% इसीलिए लिखा होता है हर एक्सपेरिमेंट में, किसी पे 100% नहीं लिखा जाता. ठीक है, दिस इज कॉल्ड refutations, whatever you can pronounce. भैया इतना डिफिकल्ट है, मेरे बस की तो नहीं है. Who emphasize the falsifications, refutations and the falsifications. He emphasize the falsification. They PYQ they ask in the matching sections. ठीक है, अब देखिए एग्जाम टफर है तो इसका मीनिंग पूछ देगा. The idea that the theory is the scientific only if it can be tested and the potentially discovered. ठीक है, अगर falsification नहीं होगा ना तो accept और reject का आइडिया डिलीट हो जाएगा. Suppose that मैंने in case I said कि sugar is always sweet, so how can I prove? So it's हमें चेक करना पड़ेगा ना. We have to test, we have to conduct so many tests, and after that we are able to identify falsification. Okay, and the proper contracts the Einstein's relativity. He was contracts to the Einstein's relativity theory, specific relativity and the general relativity theory was there. Two theory बहुत अच्छी है, पढ़ना कभी. Open to falsifications and the Newtonian's physics and the showing that science is not eternally valid but always provincial. देखिए उन्होंने ये नहीं कहा science is always eternally valid. Science was not always internally valid. It was always provisional होता है. ठीक है, he criticized the Marxisms and the other pseudoscience for being the unfalsifiables and the insisting that the genuine science and the must remain testables, the refutable and the open to revision. ठीक है, तो उन्होंने कहा कि साइंस जो होती है वो सीडो साइंस नहीं है. उन्होंने मार्क्सिस्ट को क्रिटिसाइज किया एंड ही सेड कि साइंस मस्ट बी टेस्टेबल एंड साइंस मस्ट बी रिफ्यूटेबल, साइंस मस्ट बी ओपन टू रिविजन्स. ठीक है, falsifiability is a principle that introduced by the Karl Popper. देखिए कार्ल मार्क्स, कार्ल पॉपर लगभग इनका कोई रिलेशन जरूर रहा होगा. They were definitely in a relations because जब ऐसे कोई लॉजिक को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स करता है ना तो they were definitely related to like a nephews या uncle, somewhere they were related. So he wrote the one book called The Logic of the Science Discovery, 1934. And in this book, The Logic of the Science Discovery in 1934, the Karl Popper mentioned the falsifiability. अभी तक देखिए सिर्फ ये पूछा गया है एग्जाम में. Till the now they were asking the falsifiability concept was given by whom? So this falsifiability concept was given by the Karl Popper. Now they were asking the next step, in which book they were mentioned the falsifiability concept. The Logic of the Scientific Discovery in 1934, they mentioned this concept. The way evaluate the scientific statement are theory is falsifiable if it can be logically constructed or allowed for empirical observations that contradict it. In the practice, this means a theory must be make a formal predictions that prohibit certain outcome under the given condition. The Popper argued that the falsifiability solved both problem of inductions, how we justify the scientific knowledge, and the problem of demarcations, how we distinguish the scientific from non-science. For him, the contradictions lies in the logical structures, the theory itself, not the external methodological concern. ओके, वो उसी में उनका कॉन्ट्रोडिक्शन लॉजिकल स्ट्रक्चर थ्योरी में ही था, वो बाहर नहीं देखते थे, वो थ्योरी को ही देखते थे, ठीक है। अभी समझ में आ जाएगा, देखिए। सो द बेस्ट एग्जांपल्स द कार्ल प्रॉपर गिव, सपोज दैट देयर आर टू ब्लैक स्वॉन्स बट इवन विद द नो ब्लैक स्वॉन्स, ठीक है, सपोज दो ब्लैक स्वॉन है लेकिन ब्लैक स्वॉन तो होते ही नहीं है, ऑल स्वॉन वर व्हाइट, सभी स्वॉन क्या है, व्हाइट है, would still be shown the specificities by here is a black swan, it would be still be a valid observations statement in the empirical language even if the empirically false, ठीक है। कहते हैं he said he suppose that all swan there were two swan and those swan was a black, क्योंकि रियलिटी क्या है, एम्पेरिकलिटी क्या है, एम्पेरिकल रिजल्ट क्या है कि swan never exist in the black, always they exist in the white, so all swan are white. So in case suppose that the one or two swan we can see in the black, so in that case our observations become uh, refund, our observation become false. So even though अगर हम देख रहे हैं तो empirically that observation is right ना, but even though this empirically is false, okay, so वो ये कहते हैं, मतलब देखिए अगर सिंपल एग्जांपल में बोलूं तो जो चीजें एग्जिस्ट जैसे करती हैं, जैसे स्वान हमेशा सफेद ही दिखते, व्हाइट ही होते हैं, क्योंकि most of the students are watching from the I think South India, so they are not able to understand the English. I'm extremely sorry for those, but I am trying to convey in English as well. So please listen carefully. I know definitely you will understand. I am saying कि there where a swan is always exist in the white. Okay, but sometimes suppose some cases the swan is one or two swan you can see in a black color. So if you are seeing, so in that situations this result is absolutely right. Okay, but empirically it would be wrong because there is no black swan existence, ठीक है। थोड़ा तो ये falsifiability होती है, falsifiability is always based on the provisionalities, always based on the testabilities, so and testabilities would provide the modern dimensions, ऐसा हो सकता है because earlier human height was I think 6 feet and right now the normal height is a 5 feet maximum. I am talking about the girl, boys maybe 5 to 7 feet, it's like that, but the girls is 5 to 5.5 something like that. So but ऐसा तो नहीं है ना, यही होता है, तो some girls some boys they have very small height like 3 feet, है ना। So in that case these observations become false ना, this is called falsifiability, even though this is a drawback, but है ना ऐसा, this is exist na, so this is called falsifiability is given by Karl Popper. So let's see the next one. So I already mentioned this book, you can see the logic there and the Forschung. This is a French word, and English we can say the logic of the scientific discovery in 1934. This book was written by the Karl Popper, and this book was written by the Karl Popper, and the Karl Popper was a very prominent, basically he was an Australian philosopher, and he did a lot of studies in sociology as well as anthropology, basically in research methodology. बुक का नाम ही देखिए, द लॉजिक ऑफ द साइंटिफिक डिस्कवरी इन 1934 by Karl Popper. Let's see the next one, Thomas Kuhn. Whatever you can pronounce, there is no obligations. Okay, Thomas Kuhn, 1922, offer a different view of the scientific compared to Karl Popper's and the while Popper's, they emphasize the falsifiabilities and the refutations. The Kuhn focused on the rule of paradigm. Okay, even though Karl Popper he was compared with the Karl Popper concept is falsifiabilities and the refutations, and on the comparing that concept, he gave the new concept is called the rule of paradigm in the shaping of scientific practices. He described the normal science as the routine work the scientists do within the accepted the paradigm, treating it as a framework for the solving the puzzle rather than the questioning it. The paradigm such as the Newton's principia it means the principle, and the Franklin electricities on the Einstein's the relativities, they provide the model of the guides research traditions. According to Kuhn, the scientific progress occurred through the extraordinary science and the scientific revolutions. ये बहुत important है. This is the most important book. The scientific revolution is the book was written by Thomas Kuhn. Okay, when the paradigm is challenged, the replaced and he characterized He characterized the normal science as a puzzling solving creativity, where the scientists refine and extended the paradigm rather than attempt to justify it. Okay, let's see. देखिए, the book name is Thomas Kuhn. The book name is The Structure of the Scientific Revolutions. ठीक है, इसको याद रखना है. देखिए, याद रखिएगा प्लीज. एग्जाम में कोई भी क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं वो लोग. They were asking any question in examinations. The Structure of Scientific Revolution book he written in 1934. This book was a very important, and in this book, The Structure of Scientific Revolutions, he gives the concept of the scientific, the paradigm shift. What is the exact meaning of the paradigm shift? Let's see. The fundamental change in the basic concept and the practices of the scientific discipline. Basic concept और basic discipline में जो भी scientific fundamental changes होते हैं, this is called paradigm shift या paradigm shift. Whatever you can pronounce. Paradigm shift. And the term was introduced by Thomas Kuhn in the influential book, The Structure of the Scientific Revolution in 1962. Kuhn explained that the science usually operate within a paradigm and shared the framework of the theories, methods, and the assumptions guiding research. Over time, anomalies accumulate and the existing paradigm cannot explain the leading a scientific revolutions where the old paradigm is replaced by the new one. Although Kuhn originally applied the idea of natural science, इसको भी याद रखेंगे कि कुन ने natural science के idea को apply किया था, and the concept was since been used more broadly in describe the profound change in the model of perceptions across many fields. ठीक है, and the structures of the science revolutions in 1962. In this book, he explained the concept of paradigm shift. Paradigm means the basic concept and the practice of the scientific discipline. Basic change in the fundament. जो भी basic fundamental change होते हैं, fundamental change in the basic concept is called the paradigm shift. In paradigm shift, earlier old paradigm या present paradigm is shift by or changed by another paradigm is called paradigm shift. Okay, let's see the next one. Okay, Paul Feyerabend को अभी तक नहीं पूछा है, पर we have to learn. Paul Feyerabend was again very important philosopher from Australia, and popularities of traditions and the approaches is anarchist theory of knowledge. You just learn this one. कुछ भी याद नहीं करना, प्लीज इसको याद रख लेना. पाउल से भी याद रखोगे तो कम चल जाएगा एग्जाम में. Paul Feyerabend, he give the theory is called the popularity of the traditional and approaches is anarchist theory of knowledge. Anarchist theory of knowledge. And later he explained what is the meaning of anarchist. Detail में explain किया, no need to go in the detail, just learn this name. And the most famous book is written by Paul Feyerabend. Paul Feyerabend, the most famous is book written this Against Method. ठीक है, अगेंस्ट मेथड इनकी सबसे पॉपुलर बुक थी. देखिए, अब अगर पॉपुलर बुक ही नहीं आपको याद है तो फिर आप क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन करते हैं कि मेरा जेआरएफ होगा? जेआरएफ तो तब होगा ना जब आप एक एंथ्रोपोलॉजिस्ट हु इज अ फिलोसोफर इज फेमस एंड यू हैव टू जस्ट लर्न द फर्स्ट बुक एंड द फेमस बुक एंड द लास्ट बुक, तो आपको 2 मार्क एक्स्ट्रा मिलेंगे सबसे. सो इन दैट केस यू आर गेन द 1 percentile मोर देन द अदर. ठीक है, तो अगेंस्ट मेथड इज द बुक इज रिटन बाय Paul Feyerabend and so many book is written. Again, the Killing Time is again most important book is written by Paul. Okay, let's see the next one. ठीक है, इसको याद रखेंगे, इसको पढ़ लेना, कुछ है नहीं इसमें. लेट्स सी द नेक्स्ट वन. ये देखिए, इस बुक को भी याद रखेंगे. कॉपरनिक रिवॉल्यूशंस, थॉमस कुन की बहुत फेमस बुक है. कॉपरनिक रिवॉल्यूशंस, बेसिकली ही डेवलप अ वेस्टर्न थॉट इन दिस Copernican revolutions. बहुत फेमस बुक है. यू हैव टू रिमेम्बर दिस वन. ठीक है, The Structure of Scientific Revolution first and Copernic, क्या नाम था उसको? कॉपरनिक रिवॉल्यूशंस. देखिए, रिवॉल्यूशन से जोड़ के याद रखेंगे इसको. ठीक है, मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट बुक इज रिटन बाय थॉमस कुन. एंड द नेक्स्ट यू कैन सी, ये भी बुक याद रखनी है, द लॉजिक ऑफ द साइंटिफिक डिस्कवरी बाय कार्ल प्रॉपर. Okay, and the most important concept was given by Karl Popper in this book. देखिए, मुझे तो पढ़ते और बनाते हुए ये बहुत अच्छा लगा था. आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज योर पोजीशंस, बट पढ़ना तो पड़ेगा ही. इंटरेस्टिंग हो या नहीं हो एग्जाम के लिए तो आपको पढ़ना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, So we just completed the basic introduction about the uh, philosophy of social science. In philosophy of social science, we discussed some important name like Karl Marx, Weber, Karl Popper, and Kuhn, and Paul. So most important, you have to learn what the concept he given in which book. Earlier they were asking the name, and right now might be they put the extra book name. So you have to recall like the first Weber, especially Durkheim. Durkheim was given the concept in the mechanical and the mechanical solidarity, which is related to traditional societies, and next one is organic solidarity. That one is related to modern societies, and the next one you can see one is there, the division of labor, near about 1893 time period was there. Method of sociological method, he wrote this book. It was the first book of Emile Durkheim. So after that, the Karl Marx is divided the classical group into two group, uh, proletariat and the bourgeois was also there. And Weber was divided into social stratification in three. First one was a class, second was a status, next one was a power. So he said the social stratification was exist in the three ways. And after that, he introduced the next rethinking. In rethinking, the first person was a Karl Popper. He gave the falsification theory, falsifiability theory, and in falsifiability theory, he wrote one book that we call the logic studies of the science. Logic study of science, something was a book was there, and this in this book he introduced the concept of the falsifiability. And next one, the Kuhn was there. The Copernic revolutions book he wrote, and the next one is a revolutions book is also there. In that book he introduced the concept of he introduced the concept of उनका concept क्या था, paradigm shift. So in paradigm shift, what is the meaning of exact meaning of the paradigm? Paradigm means basically change. Basic structures are the basic change in the fundamental change in the basic concept is called the paradigm shift. ठीक है, जैसे पुराने किसी चीज को नए से किसी चीज से सब्स्टिट्यूट कर दिया जाए. So this concept was given by, he was a contrast to Karl Popper. And after that we just learned the Paul give the one is anarchy. So anarchical revolutions, anarchical term was given by him. So थोड़ा थोड़ा याद रखना है, एग्जैक्ट किसी को नहीं याद होता है, ठीक है, बट यू हैव टू रिकॉल द नेम, पर्सन्स एंड द टाइम. सो अभी तो मुझे और भी कवर करना था, तो बट आज के लिए इतना ही रहने देते हैं, क्योंकि ये बहुत अच्छा कॉन्सेप्ट है. और मैं ट्राई करूंगी कि सैटरडे में आई विल ट्राई टू अपलोड वन वीडियोस इज रिलेटेड टू सोशल ट्राई नहीं, मैं करूंगी एक वीडियो, क्योंकि संडे में आपका कोई टेस्ट नहीं है. तो संडे में टेस्ट नहीं है तो मुझे टेस्ट नहीं बनाना पड़ेगा. तो इन दैट केस आई विल अपलोड वन वीडियोस इज बेसिकली रिलेटेड टू epistemologies and the ontology. देखिए why I am teaching like this, क्योंकि this is again part of the philosophical dimension, all you are aware. And this epistemology and ontology, it will help you in the part paper 1 logical reasoning. अब logical reasoning यहीं से start हो जाएगा. Epistemology and ontology. Epistemology and ontology part of the metaphysics. Metaphysics is all about the universe existence. And what is the meaning of epistemology? What is the meaning of ontology? Basically, both were fall under the knowledge gaining. And if we are talking about the existence of something, this is called ontology. And ontology is synonyms of metaphysics. Okay, and in case we are going towards the epistemology, sometimes they ask the one question is the matching sections. Concept पूछता है कि क्या स्टूडेंट्स को कॉन्सेप्ट पता है कि एपिस्टेमोलॉजी क्या होती है, ओंटोलॉजी क्या होता है. In case we are talking about epistemology, like ontology said ki how what they are likewise I am my existence, because I am present, I am right now I am presenting in live classes, so ki ma'am is here. So and epistemology said how can she is ma'am, because my existence is here, I am teaching you, my basic physical appearance is like that, so she is ma'am, not other teacher, she is Silpi ma'am. So the way you gaining knowledge, this is called epistemology. And the just you factual information, yes ma'am is there, कुछ होंगी मैम पता नहीं पर मैम है. So this is called ontology. And how you driven this knowledge, the way you driven this knowledge, this is called epistemology. So this is a very very interesting part for me, and I think as well as you. कोई चीज आपको दिख रही है, उसको आप देख के बता दोगे. जैसे ट्री आपको कोई दिख गया, यू कैन से दिस इज अ ट्री. अरे मुझे पता है, मैं बचपन से देखता हूँ ये ट्री है. So this existence part is called ontology. Gaining of knowledge is called entomology. And how you gaining this knowledge? How you know this is tree? Because there is a leaf, there is a stem, there is a root, and there is a proper structures. So this is called epistemology. So this is again philosophical part. देखिए इसमें direct mention है syllabus में. जैसे mention है मैं वैसे ही पढ़ा रही हूँ. In syllabus they directly mention concept of epistemology, ontologies, and the theoretical perspective. आपको सिर्फ theoretical perspective जानना है. You no need to go in the detail. You no need to go in the philosophical dimension. Even I am read all that, but मैं नहीं चाहती हूँ आपको उतना पढ़ाया जाए. I'm just want कि I would like to explain only the concept. What is a concept? एक ही question पूछता है matching section, ontology and epistemology. This is a part of philosophy, not this, but that's why I'm covering here. So I will try to cover tomorrow in recording sections. To be honest, I am not able to take live classes, and I will record these sessions and upload once this epistemology and ontology theoretical dimension, and I will also try to upload the exploration and excavation topic. And after that, this philosophical part of research methodology will complete. And from the Monday, I will take one classes on the Monday on the linguistic anthropology. Monday में मैं सिर्फ एक क्लास लूंगी linguistic anthropology की. उसमें से एक क्वेश्चन फिक्स है एग्जाम में. एक क्वेश्चन, one question fixed from linguistic anthropology. I will take class on the Monday, and from Tuesday we will start statistics concept. ठीक है, मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट. इसे आप मंडे से क्लास को आप प्लीज सीरियसली लेना and try to remember each and every concept. Okay, thank you for watching and thanks for connecting us. I am very thankful to you, all of you. Study hard and give your best. Very soon, best wishes. Thank you. Have a great day.